Hello everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to my guide to Ravana Extreme, the second Extreme Primal you'll encounter in patch 3.0. In order to unlock Ravana Extreme, you must first clear Bismarck Extreme, and accept a new quest you get immediately after, called Thok Around the Clock. While Ravana has no minimum required item level, I'd recommend at least owning a Bismarck or I-180 weapon, and having an average item level of about 160 will help do the fight more comfortably. Ravana is a two-phase encounter that is broken up into several mini-phases. If you'd like to skip to a specific phase, please use the annotations in the top left of the video. There is also a link to a discussion thread on Blue Garter detailing Ravana's exact ability names and rotation in the description of the video. Similar to hard mode, Ravana will start the fight in his neutral stance, also called Dragonfly stance, and switch stances every time he hits 100 Bloodlust. This also causes him to gain a stacking damage buff and, annoyingly, drop your target every time. His Dragonfly stance is identical to its hard mode counterpart, though his abilities have seen some changes. Tapasya and Atmalinga both operate the same. You can dodge Tapasya by moving away from the first strike, and Atmalinga is just a room-wide AoE. His Cleave, Blinding Blade, deals split damage between everyone it hits. For this attack, you can either split it with both the tanks, or turn Ravana and split the damage with the entire party. This requires careful timing as to ensure no one is hit by Tapasya by accident, so be ready to study his rotation. His parry attacks are also different in Extreme. When Ravana uses the Seeing Wings, he can only be physically attacked from the front. When he uses Seeing Left, he can only be physically attacked from his right, and the Seeing Right means he can only be physically attacked from his left. Because of the Seeing Wings, I recommend all physical DPS have a minimum accuracy of 579 for this fight. Remember, only physical DPS have to worry about this mechanic. Also, if Ravana parries your attack in Extreme, he will inflict a super potent slow debuff that needs to be removed, so really make sure you don't attack him from the wrong side. At 88%, Ravana's Bloodlust should fill for the first time, causing him to enter Berserk stance, also known as Scorpion stance. He will take increased damage in this phase, so popping big cooldowns here can help push his HP down fast. He will start the phase with Prelude to Liberation, which will just do a large AoE when it's done casting and inflict a stacking vulnerability up debuff. Just move out of range before it's done casting as seen here. He then shoots a bunch of line AoEs that turn into fire circles after they explode, so stay away from the line AoEs and don't walk over the fire circles. They put a very powerful dot on you that can't be dispelled. He also marks 5 players with purple AoEs. Just make sure no one is being hit by 2 circles and it'll be okay. It's fine if people without the purple circles stand in a single one if they can't go anywhere. When the circles explode, they will deal AoE magic damage before Ravana returns to the arena. Ravana will then start channeling Liberation. Just get to his backside to avoid it. Otherwise, you'll take some damage, take a vulnerability up stack, and be knocked back. After that, just get to the center of the room and keep your eyes out for Ravana along the outside. He will land 4 times, doing a large fire AoE each time he lands, before charging across the arena in the order his images landed. It's basically like Ifrit charges, just locate where he's charging from first and make sure to rotate in the safest direction. After this, Ravana will return to the arena. Ravana's Bloodlust will fill for a second time now, changing him back to Dragonfly stance. At this point, he will use Warlord Shell, a powerful stone skin you'll need to break before it wears off. If you fail to destroy the shield before it wears off, Ravana will wipe the party. He will also use 2 parry attacks while you are trying to break it, before entering his ad phase. Ravana still uses Atmalinga, Tapasya, Blinding Blade, and parry attacks, but the party should focus down the Ganas just like in hard mode. Remember, for every Gana that isn't killed before it finishes casting Fallen Laughter, a sword will be summoned onto the arena. When they become a sword, Ravana will add stacks of vulnerability up to the party for each sword on the field when he casts Bloody Fuller. After Ravana performs his ultimate attack, he will fill his Bloodlust for the 3rd time and enter phase 2. With the 3rd transformation, Ravana goes into his defensive stance, also called Beetle stance, and takes reduced damage. He starts with Pillars of Heaven, which behaves similar to the way it did in hard mode. Just coordinate which wall the party is going to be knocked back into and all stand together. Also move to the wall before Pillars of Heaven hits. Remember, it does reduce damage the farther away from the center of the arena you are. After knocking everyone away, he places a mark on a player's head, which will do 40k damage split between everyone hit when it disappears. So top everyone off and stack up to split the damage before topping everyone off again. After that, Ravana will mark a random party member with a red marker called Prey, which should be passed off to the main tank to draw Ravana's wave attack away from the party. After 4 wave attacks, Ravana will summon 5 orbs that will tether and chase party members, exploding for AoE damage and granting a stack of vulnerability up if they hit anyone. Just have everyone other than the main tank stack up and run together, and make sure the main tank is rotating in the same direction to keep Ravana faced away from the group. Ravana will repeat these mechanics until his Bloodlust bar fills again, which usually takes about 8% of his health worth of damage to fill. When Ravana fills his Bloodlust bar for the 4th time, he will enter Scorpion Stance again and begin charging Swift Liberation. This marks 4 players with sword marks. Each subsequent player marked will have an additional sword, designating the order that Ravana will charge at them. The difference between this and hard mode is that Ravana will charge from mark to mark, instead of charging from the center to each mark. So he'll charge from the center of the arena to mark number 1, to mark number 2, to mark number 3, to mark number 4. For this reason, mark A, B, C, and an empty space in a square formation to let people know where to stand with their marks, with A, B, C, and D being the order of 1, 2, 3, and 4. As soon as Ravana's animation of him charging at you starts, quickly move out of the way, as being hit by this twice will result in death. Here is a quick drawing of the way we organized our markers and the direction we ran to dodge the attack. Normally you just dodge in the direction that Ravana came at you from, since that's going to be the direction where you absolutely know he won't be going forward. Sometimes just moving towards the center of the room, he can still clip you if you don't move fast enough. After the 4th charge, he will mark 4 players with the purple circles again, and summon a fire field on the ground that places a deadly dot on anyone who walks over it after it explodes. Make sure you don't walk over the fire at all after it explodes, even if you think it's gone. You ideally want each marked player to go to a different quadrant, but again, as long as you don't get hit by 2 purple circles at once, you'll survive even if 2 people are in the same quadrant. After the purple circles explode, Ravana will return to the arena for his final unique attack, Final Liberation. Final Liberation starts with 2 players being marked for Prey, who should run to A and C before the ability finishes casting. Have the rest of the party stack at B to ensure they aren't between Ravana and the Preys, and to make sure you can get any shields up or anything else that you may need. When it finishes casting, Ravana will charge at each preyed player and give them a physical vulnerability up debuff, before marking them with a second set of preys to repeat the same attack over. You don't want them getting hit by a second prey, as it will kill them with that physical vulnerability up debuff. At the same time, Ravana will mark 3 players with the purple circle. Ultimately, you want 2 of the 3 non-marked, non-preyed players to grab the prey debuffs off of their initial targets and move away while the 3 purple circle targets spread out. However, we found that just by having 2 of the any non-preyed party members was sufficient. As long as they have a Stone Skin, Adlo, or Nocturnal Benefic on them, they should survive even if they eat a prey plus a purple mark. Even if you lose a few members here, it's easy to recover from this mechanic. If you want, have a paladin take one of the 2 first preys off someone and just keep it for both stacks, using hollowed ground to avoid the damage. After all the AoEs hit everyone, get to the center of the room to dodge the next attack, and then immediately run out of the center to dodge his giant knockback AoE attack. At this point, Ravana will repeat his Dragonfly stance with the Warlord Shell. He will alternate between Blinding Blade, Tapasya, at Malinga, and his parries as per usual after the shield ends, so check Ravana's ability rotation in the thread with the video and you should be able to handle it fine. And that's it! After this, Ravana will continue dancing between Beetle, Scorpion, and Dragonfly until either he dies or hits his 10-minute enrage timer. When he enters Scorpion stance for the 2nd time in Phase 2, he tends to use a random liberation instead of automatically going from Swift into Final, so just react to whichever liberation he decides to do. Just stay calm, and Ravana is one big bug waiting to be squashed. He rewards item level 190 weapons and shields, and everyone gets a hive totem that works the same as Bismarck's totems. 10 of them equals a weapon of your choice from the NPC in Idleshire. He of course drops 2 different housing items and a triple triad card as well. Thank you for watching my guide to Ravana Extreme. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share. And special thanks to the free company I'm in, Elysium, for helping me get all of this footage and making sure we had the mechanics down properly. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. And until then, take care.
Like snow they fall, petals plucked and strewn.